Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about multi-digit, that's a G, I promise, digit multiplication. So what that really means, oh boy, squeeze it in there. Ooh, that's pretty. Multi-digit multiplication. So what we're talking about today is actually we're going to be thinking about multi-digit, meaning more than one digit. So in this case, we're going to be doing two-digit numbers, like maybe like 13 times a one-digit number, so like 7. So that's what we mean when we talk multi. Up until now, we've been working on, 8 times 3 or 4 times or 5 times 6 or so on. These are single digit numbers. And now today, we're going to dive into this world of multi-digit. So again, meaning a two-digit number times a one-digit number. Okay, so that's what we mean as we talk multi-digit. A lot of times you may hear this as 2 by 1, 2 by 1 multiplication, because you're multiplying two digits by one digit. We're going to do that today in 3 steps. We're going to expand, and I'll explain what that means. Well, actually, I'll refresh what that means because we have talked about expanded form before. We are going to multiply, obviously. Well, maybe not always as obvious. And then we will add, which is an interesting step. But as you see, when we follow these 3 steps, it will make more sense as we go. So let's do it. We're going to start with 13 times 7. Why not? So I'm going to shift this up and let's dive into this. So when we think about this idea of step 1, multi-digit multiplication, we're going to expand. And what I mean by that is we're actually going to expand the number 13 by putting it in expanded form and recognizing and remembering that expanded form is the value of the place digits. So 13 is exactly the same thing as 10, right? Because there's 1 10 plus 3, because there's 3 ones. So 10 plus 3 is equal to 13. Now, why I did this is because really when we think about the way that we multiply, because we're going to multiply by 7, is it's a lot easier, right? Instead of saying, oh, well, let's see, I could write down 7 13 times, or I could write down 13 7 times and add them all together. We could actually use multiplication rules that we know to help us solve. And what I mean by that is this. So as we multiply, we're going to take our 7, we're going to multiply it by the ones place. So we're first going to say, oh, well, what's 7 times 3? And then we're going to take our 7 and we're going to multiply it by the tens place. And that's, oh yeah, what's 7 times 10? Okay, so I'm going to solve those 2 problems. And it's going to realize that that will get us the same thing as 7 times 13. Well, I guess the bottom one here is that tens rule of multiplication that we've talked about. So there's the identity. 1 times 7 is 7. And then, but really it's 10 times bigger, so I need the 0. So 10 times 7 is 70. And then if I do 7 times 3, well, that would be 7 plus 7 plus 7. Let's see, doubles backs is 14 plus 7. That's 21, right? And notice how I even wrote them. I want you to note this. I was very intentional here. I stacked them on top of each other like that because if we look at our last step, add, I'm actually just going to add these 2 together. I get 91. And guess what? That's our answer. 13 times 7 is equal to 91. So again, we expanded the multi-digit number. We multiplied the single digit by each of the expanded, and then we just added them together. So of course, this can't be done with just one problem and we're good. So let's keep practicing this and play around with it. So again, remember the steps. We're going to expand. We're going to multiply. We're going to add. Okay, so now that I got something on there, I can scoot this up so it doesn't get in the way. And let's do this. So 2-digit number. Let's say this time, let's go 16 times 5. Okay, so step 1, expand, right? Which means I'm going to expand this into 10 plus 6. Because again, that's what that says, right? 10 plus 6 is the same thing as 16. But since it's broken up, right, we put parentheses. This is something you're actually going to see in middle school, so why not do it now? Now, what we can do is we can just multiply the single digit by each of the other numbers. It's actually called the distributive property, which you'll learn more of as you go longer in math. So I'm going to write that here. I'm going to say 5 times 6, and then I need 5 times 10. Okay. All right. Well, 5 times 6, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then we know 5 times 10 is going to be 50 because of our rule, right? 5 times 1 and then the 0. And now we're just going to add those together. And it's 80. And that is what 16 times 5 equals 80. So again, expand, multiply, add. Okay, let's do one more. I'm going to put it up. Again, feel free. I'll put them across the top, the steps this time. Expand, add. Whoa, no. Expand, multiply, then add. Whew, had my steps wrong. Jeez. Okay, so let's do that. So let's see, multi-digit. Let's do 18 times 8. It's a big one, but guess what? Because of these steps, we're going to be just fine. So step 1, expand. So this is going to be 10 plus 8. And then we're timesing each of those by 8. So I can show that as 8 times 8 and 8 times 10. Okay, well, 8 times 10 is actually easier for me. That's 80. I know that one right away. Now we're going to have to go 8 times 8. That one I don't know. So I'm going to, let's see, list out my multiples. 8, 16, 24. See, again, I'm counting by 8s, and I'm going to do it 8 times. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. How many is that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 8. There it is. So 8 times 8 is 64. So now I got to add these together. So that's a 4 in the ones place, and 8 plus 6 is 14. So 144. So there you have it. So this process, a lot of fun as you practice it. Again, always ask questions if you're unsure of the steps, but if you follow those, it is going to work. Expand the bigger number, multiply the single digit by everything, and then add your answers together for your final answer. Okay, so like we did, 18 expanded to 10 plus 8. Then I multiplied the 8 times 8, then the 8 times the 10, and I added those two answers together to get 144. So go ahead and give this a go. A lot of fun. As I say, I like this process. If you have any questions, continue to ask. And as always, we appreciate your hard work, and we will absolutely see you next time.